Welcome to day 4, number 105. It is actually our first recorded show of the 2023 season. You ready for this, Frank? It's Thursday, which means when this drops, I will be competing in the first day of the Bassmaster Open on Lake Eufaula in Alabama. And I'm going to say this, and I don't want you to completely go ballistic on me.
Not gonna.
There is a better than 50% chance, well, this will drop at 8:30 a.m., that right now I am currently throwing an a Carolina rig, not an Alabama rig because they're illegal in the open, a Carolina rig in the Bassmaster Open on day 1 of the season with all the marbles.
I hope you are.
There's
That's
a chance. Now don't get into it because they also got two more days into it, but that is...
I'm not getting into it.
That is my hope that it is. But we have a great show lined up today. We're just a couple weeks away from the Bassmaster Classic. Last week, a fantastic show. Already a lot of great feedback on that show. Building skirts, saving money, creating custom colors. Very educational show on day 4, number 104. And this week, we are going to dive into the ultimate spinnerbait box. But before we get into that,
I want to remind you guys, this is the 2nd of March. March Madness begins on LureNet, so check out all the deals. There's custom colors, exclusive LureNet exclusives. Go on there, check it out. I don't know what all the sales and all the deals are going to be.
Is there a discount? Does it not count on the sales though? The BTL discount.
The BTL discount, I'm pretty sure.
Should have done that in the pre-show. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, I think that's capital BTL 100.
Yeah, you can try it. It may or may not work.
Goes on to, doesn't that go till the end of June?
I think so.
Yeah, it goes to the end of June. But I don't think that sale applies to other items that are on sale.
Okay, so if you want to grab the March Madness stuff on sale and then like throw in a couple like DD22s or little ends or something like that, then you can apply that code and it'll work to it.
Right. The code will work on anything that's not already offered on a sale. But check them out because there's going to be some really good specials on there for March Madness. You know, you Matt, you were talking about saving money with the jig skirts and stuff that we had done. Another good thing that really it just came out is another Bank and Creek bundle.
Oh, this one looks a little beefier than the Creek and Stream kit. This one looks a little beefier. I can already see some of the stuff in there.
It really is. I want to go through this. Now, you got to understand something. This kit right here that I'm holding in my hand, this is the real deal. This will appeal to boat guys as well as Bank and Creek guys because it's got a lot of stuff that we as, you know, guys in a boat, kayak, or what have you fish, as well as a bank angler. So I just want to break it down real quick and show you what's in here.
Have at it.
So the first thing I saw when I got it, honestly, was the Speed End Junior. That's in here, the Speed End Junior, orange belly craw.
That's a sweet color.
This is a super sweet color. Especially for you guys around the Table Rock area. This is a money color. Love this color. But what really excited me, I have a floating jerkbait.
Okay.
And that is my absolute 100% go-to floating jerkbait whenever I'm on bluegill beds or the bass spawn.
Okay.
I have absolutely annihilated them on Gunnersville, on Clark's Hill, and here where I live, obviously, on this. And when I saw it in the kit, because I don't know what's going in these kits.
Right.
Okay. When I saw it in the kit, I went, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's in there. And it's in there. It's the shallow floating rogue and brim color.
Ooh, is that a new color?
No, dude, this is an old school color.
That is super old school. So that's the Rogue that, so like, okay, the first time I heard about that was Toledo Bend, and in pre-spawn and during the spawn, the guys are taking it and they're casting it up in shallow and they're jerking it down and then letting it go back to the surface and then ripping it down and letting it go back to the surface. And the fish are either coming off the beds or and they obliterate that thing on top.
Dude, I gotta
twitch it, right? Twitch.
Yeah, dude, I gotta tell you the story. So I'm on Clark's Hill, okay, and
Blueback Lake.
Yes, Blueback Lake, and I get on of all things, I get on football jig fish. So I'm completely jacked to the wall because it's springtime, and I found this group of fish that was still transitioning.
Bonus bite,
big time bonus bite. So prior to me finding this bite out, I was running in the back of pockets with sparse grass, but the shallow pockets, because they heat up faster. The bass that are already back in there are going in there to spawn. And so I know without a shadow of a doubt that I can go in the backs of these pockets with this and maul them. Okay, maul them. And now that I'm looking at it, I think this one might have a little bit more purple and blue in it
100%
than my original one. So I go in the back of this one pocket, and there's isolated grass patches. It's probably from the bank out 4 feet deep. I can be 10 yards to 20 yards offshore, and it's still 3 to 4 feet. It's a real, and I go back there with this thing and I start manhandling them. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I bail on it because I don't want to catch everything. Once I started getting bigger fish, I bailed. I run down, I go to the next pocket. I run in there. It didn't look right. I leave it. I run to the next one. It looks right. I throw this thing out there. Whack, whack, whack. I start catching them, right? So I'm totally dialed in on this pre-spawn spawn pattern going on. And literally I've got this and a swim jig out. I'm like, okay, I can do this. If I got to do it, I can do it. So the next day of practice, I'm like, okay, I could run that pattern blindfolded. So I'm not going to look. Let me go check some pre-spawn main lake points going into shorter pockets. I start catching really big females on the football jig. So I'm like, holy crap, what am I going to do? So I start looking for more of that. I start finding that. And so here's what happens, because that transitional time is crazy because stuff happens like that. I mean, boom. So I go to the first point, first day of the tournament. I got a couple of spectator boats with me.
Naturally.
I jack 2 4s, 2 casts. I make another cast. I get another one on and I flip and lose it. Okay. No problem. No problem. I got more of this stuff. So I run to the next little rocky point. Don't catch them. I run to the next one. Don't catch them. Run to the next one. Don't catch them. I go, let me go back to the place where I lost the one. There's probably more fish there. I run back over there. Them 2 spectator boats are fishing on it. I'm like, crap. So I said, well, I got another deep area. Let me go in there. So I go to that deep area, throw the football jig out. I'm not catching them, but I see stuff on my 2D locator suspending, but it's deep. They're suspending like 11, 12. So I'm like, well, it's a blueback herring lake. I pick up a 24A bomber that I weighted and suspended. I throw it out there. I get another 4-pounder. I'm like, holy crap, this is going to be
winning this thing.
This is money. In the back of my vision, I saw a bass boat way on the other side of this creek that I was in. and the boat, looked that big. He was
Yeah.
far away from me. Well, all of a sudden he starts screaming, "Yeah, never give up, never give up." Is Ike. He's in the same he's in the same pocket I'm in. And my non-boater goes, "Doesn't that like annoy you?" I go, "No, because look what I got in the live well already." You know what I mean? Well, that deep pattern goes away because those fish don't want to be there anymore. They want to be on the bank. So I start running this pattern again and start catching them again. So I didn't catch as big a fish because I couldn't find them females in transition at that point. But I mean, it saved my day.
That's a cool pattern.
It's fantastic. It's so much fun.
Mix between a jerk bait and a prop bait is how you fish it.
Absolutely, dude.
That's the best way to describe it.
100%.
Yeah.
Because so we really went down a rabbit hole.
We digressed.
We sure did. So then,
Bank and Creek bag available in March. So we've got the.
So then, of course, we got the Scottsboro swim baits. But here's the deal, and this is what excites me also, because I use these small ones as a trailer
with the
on
War Eagle finesse.
Yeah.
In coleslaw.
Oh yeah, dude.
Very nice.
Yeah. This is a spotted bass killing machine right here.
Yep.
So anyway, so this bundle is exciting because not only that, but they got the 5-inch dingers in June bug red for flipping. So this is a great pre-spawn spawn bag, and you got the wacky rig tool in it, which is cool. And then they have these hooks. Now I've tried these hooks because when I saw them, I liked them, but I never heard of them. So I bought a bunch of them, and they're phenomenal. It's the Pro X Wacky Nico rig hooks.
Oh, those look good. Nano coated, it appears to be.
Oh, dude, these things are like needles. They're like needles, and they're super strong.
All right, I'll give you this Bank and Creek. This is legit.
Right? Now
This one's legit.
We're not even done yet, dude. And so then there's a new bait coming out, the Yum Helgramite.
Now you got to take that out of the pack. Can you can you take it out of the? Oh, you got to rip it. Is that a problem? Well, it's already ripped. There you go.
It's not a problem for me, man. I'm super strong.
No, I didn't mean that you couldn't open the pack. I meant that maybe you didn't want to open the pack.
Oh no, because this is going in my Helgramite.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay, so I'll give you the belly color and the back
That's
color.
Real interesting, Uncle Frank. Okay, that's a real interesting bait. Enlighten me on the rigging options on that beauty.
Right, dude. This thing. So speaking about rigging options, here, let me do this because I want to tell you what the real name of this color is.
We just do a whole show on this Bank and Creek bag.
Oh, swear to God, this color is copper. What the hell is this color? Copper Creek.
Yep.
This is a badass color. Okay, so what I did a while ago for all these Bank and Creek boxes, I did a bunch of illustrations for them, and you guys know that the illustration
comes in each one.
Right. So I'm going to sign this one personally and give it away at the Classic too.
Oh, but you actually did a rigging sheet. I did not know that. We did not plan this, obviously, as you could tell based on
we did not plan
minutes.
Right. So I have a sheet, a bunch of different ways to rig it.
Hell yeah. Split shot, drop shot, Ned rig.
Right. Money, especially for a guy on fishing a small creek system, money. So inside the kits also what you get bite specs.
Yeah.
On each bait, how to fish them, blah, blah, blah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, when, where, and how to fish them. And then you get a discount card, which will have your code here. Your code will be there. And but the bank, the ones you get will have a code number on them.
I got you.
And you could get a discount of up to anywhere for, I can't read this microscopic print, but you get a discount, and it could be anything up to 65% off.
Dude, as we get into later in the year, we're going to have to do an odd plastic show because that falls under it. And I know that that's a new bait, and I would love to get your thoughts on that, because I think that has some potential.
Dude, wait till you see the videos I'm doing with this bait right
Oh,
here.
you've actually, yeah. Oh, that's okay. I'm looking.
Yeah, dude, this ain't the first time I've had these baits.
Are there only 300 of those Bank & Creek kits too?
I believe there is.
Okay.
I believe there is. So anyway, this Bank & Creek excited me to no end, and of course this.
Yep.
And this
Rattling Rogue
are going in my
Speed and Junior.
Are going in my tackle box. Along with that is going in my boat. And I've got a million wacky tools, so
phenomenal.
I'll put that back in there. But yeah, it's this one. This appeals to bass guys from the boat as well as Bank & Creek guys. So don't miss out on that one. That's cool. Anyway, I got it. Literally, I got it yesterday.
Yeah.
So I'm like, holy crap, this is so cool.
No, that's a good one. All right. Something else that's good is this time of the year, we're starting in March. Maybe, yeah, nah, it even works. It's just, there's maybe some ice up where you are still, but
no ice. We got
no ice. It's out. We are in the middle of prime spinnerbait spring bite for a lot of the country. We're just getting into it for a portion of the country. And in my case, the hardest thing for me to store is spinnerbaits, especially with the War Eagles, because they're
pre-skirted.
Yeah, they're my spinnerbait of choice that I like to throw.
I love
but
them. Like,
I have issues after I use them, putting them back, making sure they don't rust. How do I store them? Do I bring them? I suck at getting it all together because they're awkward to store. And if you that's a system that a lot of people struggle with, because if you go into any tackle store or anything, there's like 8 different ways to store the spinnerbaits, from bags to boxes to hooks to snapping in. You have that system dialed in, and that's what this week's show's about.
Right, because because I had the same issues when I was fishing Bassmasters all the time. I didn't have time for anything, so I had to load my truck with tackle. I had to load the boat with tackle because we literally, and obviously, you go from lake to lake in a lot of instances.
Yep.
And on the elites, they would be back to back. And so, hold on, my cat is destroying everything I have.
Bring the cat in. We haven't had the cat in the show for a minute here, Frank. It's been a solid 4 or 5 episodes since Bama has made an appearance.
All right, so Bama's back in action.
What's up, Bama?
Hey, who's that?
What's up, Bama? They don't listen to you. They have no soul.
They have no soul. They just have the will to kill.
Yeah.
So get out of here. So anyhow, so yeah, and so in my travels, I was like, gosh, I can't, I've got everything everywhere. I can't handle it. And I didn't like the way my spinnerbaits system was in my boat because it was cumbersome. Yeah. It was way too cumbersome. So I narrowed it down. So the first thing I did was, and I used to carry, believe it or not, I used to carry these in my boat. And it says blades.
Yep.
And so what it is, it's all different styles of spinnerbait blades. Okay. So this also became a pain in my groin, because
that's a new one for me, Uncle Frank.
They weigh a ton. All right, and I have 3 of them, and they're full.
You carried 3 full-size Plano boxes of just blades.
Just blades, because I made all my stuff on the water. And so it got ridiculous. I mean, this is heavy.
That's a mile an hour right there.
Right. So what I wound up doing was I put these in my truck. I built my favorite spinnerbaits, and I put just a few packs of certain blade combinations, pre-made combinations, just in those little tiny, these little like pill bags.
Yep.
Okay.
Available on Amazon.
Right. Or at your local CVS, whatever. So anyway, so that's what I did. So then when I saw conditions change, if I had to do something crazy at night in my room, I would make a couple spinnerbaits. Okay. So anyhow, so this leads me to where I evolved to. So I decided that it was going to be much easier to carry one spinnerbait box and make it as functional as I possibly can. So this is the actual box that's in my bass boat right here. This is
That's
it.
a thing of beauty.
Right?
That is a thing of beauty.
Okay, so here's the deal. All right. I have the exact same box here. Brand new. I just bought it the other day to show you guys something. So here's what I got. I have it labeled. And you could see the weights. 3/8, 3/4, 1/4, 5/16, and 1/2. And that's how I got it. Okay. I have skirts, and I have three trailers that I use religiously. And then my other trailers, like my small swim baits, Scottsboro swim baits, they're in a swim bait box, so I don't have to put them in here. So if I have if I go fishing and Frankie calls me up and says, "Come on, Dad, let's go," I'll just grab this box, because basically everything I need is in this box.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nothing. And notice it's the sealed type, because I got sick and tired of component damage from moisture.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you notice, I got these little moisture wicking blocks in here.
Okay.
Okay.
Pull one of those out.
I am, because I'm going to open this. I also have buzz baits in here, believe it or not. So one of these things, now the guy's going to kill me because he's a really good guy.
Did he send them to you?
Yeah, he sent
them to me too. They come in a little pack, and they're literally designed to wick the moisture out of your out. They're like a
it's like
what comes in your beef jerky pack. Yep.
Silica gel thing.
Dang it! I have a pack in the garage.
Do you remember his name?
No, I've got it, and I've got a pack in the garage because I use them.
He's gonna kill me because
we'll hook him up on the next show.
But anyhow, those things work, dude. Like, they work beyond belief, and I have 4 of them in here. So if I open this up now, this is going to be a little crazy, man. But if I
do not spill that.
No, it's all compact.
Yep.
All right. So what I have here, I'm closing this.
Yes, you're making me nervous.
Yeah, it's making me nervous too. So what I have here, okay, I have a big compartment here, a big compartment here, and a big compartment here. So I have 3 that'll hold 3/4 ounce. It'll hold any kind of spinnerbait you want right here. All right. So what I do with those is I will put my spinnerbaits, like here's my coverts. Okay. So what I have on my coverts, you see I got one with a skirt because that's the last one I fished. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one's without. The rest of them I have in the bags. 1/2 ounce. See the bags?
Mm-hmm.
And then remember I told you I'll make a couple little packs of blades, and then I have my little blade pack with certain blade combinations that I like. So as you can see here, I took all this out. So I just want to do this to prove something. So there's 3. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 in here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 7. And look at how many I still have in the bottom of the tray.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you're carrying a lot.
So, okay, so I have 14 1/2-ounce spinnerbaits in here. There's no reason on earth that
you're going to go through that many.
You're not going through that many. If you go through that many, you're throwing them on the wrong pound test line. So at any rate, so that's my 1/2-ounce box, and I do the same thing with the 3/4, my 3/4.
Yeah, that's how you know you're a smallmouth fisherman, when you've got 100%. An entire bag of chartreuse only bait.
100%. Well, the smallmouths will absolutely destroy these beyond belief. Again, I got some blade combinations and some extra painted blades in case they throw them, and of course for the smallies, trailer hooks. and that's all in my 3/4 ounce size. So you see there's so we just with the halves and the 3/4, we're already looking at 20 baits, 30 bait, 20,
at least
20 baits. So then I've got my,
and not a stitch of rust in there.
nothing. And so then I go to my quarters, which I have in the middle, and I store my quarter. Oops. This is a I don't know where to put my inlines, so they go in there too. So then I do the same thing with my quarters. I got them in a bag.
Mm-hmm.
I have some
just loose with no skirts.
And then I have my 5/16 War Eagles in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot more 5/16 War Eagles in a bag.
Gosh, you're dialed.
Okay. I even have some of my drum beaters in there. But that's a story. That's a thing for a different day.
This is all the same box.
Same box. Now, okay, so there is, oops, what did I do? I got my other blade combinations also in here. Okay, so now I got my buzz baits, and I don't know if you could see this. This is
on
dangerous.
The bottom right there, and they're all kind of cupped together so you can fit a lot in.
Right, and then my buzz baits go in there. Okay, yep. And then of course I got my skirts up top, and then my trailers.
You make those skirts the exact same way you make, if you want to make them, you make them the exact same way, but using shad and bluegill colors that you make the jig skirts that are in day 4, number 104.
Correct. Like I got all kinds of stuff I make in here. But we're not going to go through the skirts right now because that's not part of this game today. So anyway, so that's my spinnerbait box. So now I'm going to close this thing up, and I have more spinnerbaits in here than you'll ever use in a season. It's in one box. It's not even, it's
just a normal 3600 box,
right?
But you've got a high quality one. It's got 3 snaps on either side, waterproof. Add the moisture wicking stuff in it, and you're good to go.
Right. Now, here's the reason that I went to the waterproof box, because when it's pouring down rain, which is when most of the time you're throwing that spinnerbait.
Yep.
Okay. When you open it up to get one out and you get all the droplets of rain on your box, and then you close it, that sits in your boat. Then it stops raining and the sun comes out and it's in your rod locker. It turns into a sauna in there, and it just steams everything up. So your blades get tarnished. You get rust on some of the bad components. Usually the rust starts on a hook that's been sharpened, because you're taking, every time you sharpen it, you take the coating off the hook.
And your barrels that make this blade spin at the slightest. It's all the important stuff, the hook points and the barrels.
Right. So I got sick of it. So here's what we're going to do. So I had to modify the box. Okay. Which we should come out with an Uncle Frank spinnerbait box.
Should.
So basically what I did was, here's where I got my 2 big compartments from. So I put the divider, which these blue dividers, by the way, also were made from moisture wicking material.
Yeah. So Frank now has a brand new box that is empty.
That is empty. So I put the first divider in,
and it's not a standard one. I mean, it's got it. Did you cut cut anything out of there?
Yeah, I'm going to show you right now.
Okay.
So I got for my 3/4, for my halves. Now I wanted this particular middle section for my 1/8 and quarters and 5/16, but you could do any section you want. I chose the middle one. So here's what I did. I said, okay, I'm going to use the middle one. So I'm going to take my dividers and I'm going to put them in the middle one. So I'm just going to, right now I'm taking the dividers and I'm putting the dividers in the middle. Okay, so there they are in the middle. So what I did was to take this middle post out.
Yep.
Do not use a mat knife or an X-Acto knife to do it. Because A, you'll cut your fingers off for sure, and B, you'll crack the plastic. So there's two ways to remove this. You can get a soldering iron with a super fine point on it, and you could melt it down and melt it across and do it that way, or take a tiny Dremel tool and Dremel it out.
And then it just snaps right out.
And it comes right out, and it's not complicated. It's really easy to do, but you got to take your time because the Dremel will heat up and melt some of the plastic if you're not careful. So you do little bit at a time. It literally only takes about 10 minutes and you're done, and it's perfect. Or you could take the soldering iron and you could just very lightly heat it with the point of the soldering iron a couple of times around, and then just take it out. I Dremeled mine out for the boat because I didn't like the black melted plastic in here.
Okay.
So I Dremeled it out, but I used to melt them out. And that's pretty much it. And then the rest of these slots, you could divide how you want it.
Yeah.
To
trailer hooks, skirts,
right,
blades.
To fit your needs.
So you end up with 1, 2, 3, 4 compartments.
Correct. Unless,
and then multiple other compartments that you can size up just using the original. Okay.
Right. And listen, you guys saw there's more spinnerbaits in my spinnerbait box than you could use in.
Dude, they need to make that box.
Yeah, I swear, straight up. Because this is the best, without a doubt, the best system that I found, because they don't rust. They're neat, they're compact, they're easy to access. Everything's in there at a glance. And it's just it's dang near bulletproof. And so that's my spinnerbait storage system for my bass boat.
So your spinnerbait's one box.
One box. This is all I have right there. And it is my real spinnerbait box.
Oh, and you have your trailers in there too.
I have 3 trailers in here, and only 3 trailers.
Can we go through those? Because one of them looks very unique.
Yeah, I didn't.
You not want to. Well, you just held the box up.
I know.
It's right there, Frank.
I held it up the wrong way.
You don't want to talk about it. You don't have to.
So the easy trailer is the split tail.
That's your standard split tail.
Standard split.
Is that a Yum trailer?
No, this is actually Zoom.
Okay.
Zoom. And then of course I told you about the swim baits, but those are in my swim bait box.
And so that swim bait is the
Pulse Minnow, the Yum Pulse Minnow. That is one of my favorite spinnerbait trailer swim baits.
Just because of how that boot tail on the tail on the back and the slender gives it a good thump.
Yeah, what it does is it helps the spinnerbait. It does this when you slow roll a spinnerbait. Okay. And if you want to get the spinnerbait, if you want to be able to really slow it down, you can put it on a lighter spinnerbait, 5/16, quarter, even a half. But in the half, I'll use the full size one. And you could slow it way down because of the bulk. It wants to rise the spinnerbait up. So you could really crawl it along. That's the real deal. And then the other trailer that I have is really simple. It's just a little 4-inch hooktail worm. Okay.
And that's the one you like on the 5/16?
Yeah, I throw that on. I'll throw that on every spinnerbait I got if they're eating it.
Okay. But great shad imitator.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. And that's it. I mean, I have this spinnerbait box is magical. It really is. I have so many lures in here. It's ridiculous. And then of course the buzz baits, and I store my buzzbait blades, my spare buzzbait blades like that in the box with my buzz baits. Just marry them up, and you can get them in there. Now that's it. I mean, it's that easy. It's just
okay. Now, component wise, this is where I run into component wise, the little O-ring split rings that you use to connect, the little barrel swivels that sometimes get rusted that connect to the split ring that then connect to the blade. Do you carry all those little bitty components too?
Yeah, I have a little tiny bag.
Beads.
Yeah, I have a little tiny bag in there with a dozen beads, a dozen split rings, and about 4 Sampo swivels, ball bearing Sampo.
Now you're not getting rid of the other boxes. You still have the boxes of blades. You still have the boxes of components. You still have the backup boxes.
Right, they're just not in my boat.
What you're talking about is your game day stuff, and you're able to eliminate 4 Plano boxes and get it down to 1.
Every bit, yeah, every bit. And that's what's in my boat all the time, is that spinnerbait box right there. If I travel, the components just go in my truck.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I have to make some oddball type of deal, I can make it. You know what I mean? It's easy.
Standard blades that you're going to carry with you at all times, the extra blades. Just give us your top 3 universal blades that you need to make sure that you could have in that box.
I'll have Hildebrandt willows, 3.5, 4, 4.5, and 1 5. I'll have 1 or 2 5s in there, but not.
In case there's bigger gizzard shad in there. Is it okay?
Exactly.
Or you need to slow it down.
Right. And then I'll do Colorado, same sizes, and I'll do hammered and smooth. And then I'll do Oklahoma blades, turtleback blades, same sizes. And then I have a couple fluted blades that I carry around with me.
Yes or no, if you're going to start out somewhere with a universal blade, that Oklahoma blade is a very good all-around blade to fish with.
Yeah, because what it does, it's a cross between a Colorado and a willow. So it gives you flash, but it also gives you throbbing and displaces a ton of water. So it appeals to the lateral line, especially in off-colored waters. And it runs through grass almost as good as a willow comes through grass. It's not a burner. You're not going to put that turtleback style on and expect to burn a spinnerbait. It'll come right to the top, just like Colorado blades. So that's pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much it with the blades. I keep that much part of it simple. I don't have a lot of painted blades, although I do have painted blades. Usually they're chartreuse or white.
For smallmouth. It's weird. Painted blades, guys are either painted blade fans or not. You ask some of them, they feel like it takes a little bit of that hard edge thump off with the paint on it and the softness of the paint, and it doesn't thump as hard as just a gold or a silver. But some guys swear by the painted blades as well.
Well, I've had several instances on lakes, including Texoma, where the paint saved my ass.
Yeah, well, the orange kicker's huge in this part of the woods. Is that a deal up in Ohio or not as much?
Yeah, it is. It's just not as popular here, but it is. It's just not as popular. The whites and the chartreuses, because I fish a lot of big smallmouth waters, play. But I've had days on spotted bass fisheries with those painted blades that the spots behave just like smallmouth.
All right, this is the next thing. You're fishing, you've had a good day, you've gone through 3 or 4 different spinner baits, you got a couple laying in your cup holder, you got a couple tied onto your rod. It's the end of the day, you want to put all your stuff back. How are you stripping it down and putting those things back to where you're not compromising the integrity of the entire box by replacing it? Or once it's in rotation, is that thing never seeing that spinnerbait box again?
No, it'll go back in the box, but here's 2 things. Okay, if I have the skirt color specifically for that lake, I take the skirt off.
Okay.
I just dry the bait off and put it back in the box.
Worst thing you could ever do is put a wet bait back in the box.
It's the worst thing you can do.
I mean, you just ruined your entire box.
Right. 100%. When I first started fishing the trail, that was my biggest first mistake. I had thrown some spinner baits in. I cut them off and threw them right back in the spinnerbait box, closed it, threw it in a rod locker. Spinnerbait bite was gone. We were into a different season. Spinnerbait wasn't playing. One day it was coming into the end of summer, fall. It started to rain. I'm like, I got to get the spinnerbaits out because I was on that zone, that depth zone where the spinnerbait plays. And I opened up my box, and to my dismay, everything was rusting.
Everything was brown.
It was terrible. And I was like, what? You know what I mean? And I trashed all the spinnerbaits. So I had to go back to my truck and get new spinnerbaits out of the truck. And I said, that ain't never, ever going to happen to me again. And so that's when I started tweaking out the system. Now, some of the spinnerbaits, if it's a skirt color that I use frequently, I'll dry the bait off and I won't take the skirt off, but the trailers always come off. You have to take the trailers off because a lot of soft plastic's impregnated with salt, and that salt will accelerate the rusting process. So I take the trailers off always. And then, you could take the spinnerbait, rinse it out in the water, shake it a couple times, and throw it on the deck of your boat till it dries, and then put it back. But I make sure it's dry. I don't put water in my spinnerbait box. It freaks me out.
Trailer hook wise, you talked about the trailers. You mentioned the trailer hooks for the smallmouth.
Yeah, I'm showing.
What trailer hook are you doing, and when outside of smallmouth are you going with a trailer hook? And do you ever run a trailer hook with a trailer, or are you only going to run a trailer hook when you just run a skirt and not a trailer as well?
Oh no, I run it with the trailer on it.
Okay, and it doesn't tangle.
No, because you're putting it on after it's above your trailer hook. So the trailer hook's important, okay?
You're keeping the trailer hook in the package. You're not taking them out to where they're rattling around. You're keeping a trailer hook in the package. There you go.
This is the bend style that I want on a trailer hook.
Not a straight round bend. It's almost like the
O'Shaughnessy.
Yep, it's the same hook that you like on your football jig.
There's no way on earth I ever put a round bend trailer hook on a spinnerbait.
Really?
No way.
Well, because they're easier to throw.
They're way easier to throw, and then when you get the fish on this trailer hook, he's got the whole rest of the spinnerbait doing whatever it's got to do. So I want a hook that's going to pin to the more pressure the fish pushes, the harder this hook pulls up into the fish's mouth because of the shape of the hook. This hook keeps them on, and most of the time, I will tell you, 99% of the time, I do not fish a trailer hook. The only time I fish a trailer hook is if I'm burning them for smallmouth.
Okay.
Because I want as many hooks in that smallmouth as I can get.
Okay.
Because they are, dude, when they hit a spinnerbait, you talk about loaded to the cork. I mean, your rod is tinking when they hit it.
Yeah. Speaking of which loaded to the cork merch still available on the BTL merch site. Go to basszone.com, click on the shop BTL tab. Hanes Beefy tees, high quality sweatshirts still available through the end of the month on the BTL website.
Yeah, get them while they're hot. Get them while they're hot, man.
It goes to fund Frank Scalish's motor recoup fund.
Yeah, which thank goodness, guys, it seems to be a-okay. So
who ended up? Do you want to give a shout out to who ended up getting you finally back on the water, like with a functional vessel?
Oh, do I ever want to give him a shout out? And he's going to be at the Bassmaster Classic also. Fast Bass Marine. They're located by Lake Barkley in Grand River, Kentucky. Tim was brilliant. I mean,
Tim at Fast Bass Marine, the only man in the country able to get Frank Scalish and the Alpha 211.
Yeah, the Alpha 211
back in action.
Frankie and I went out. actually,
last week ago.
Yeah, the maiden voyage, I went out by myself and blistered some. That I had to crack a lot of ice to get out on, and if you saw my Instagram before it got hacked, you would have seen the ice.
Hopefully by now you've got that handled.
I will have it handled by now, hopefully.
And hopefully
then
I've got 20 pounds on a Carolina rig right now.
I hope you have 25 pounds on a Carolina rig right now.
Let's not get carried away.
Hey, if we're dreaming, dude, we're dreaming big.
We are.
Dreaming big, man.
You ever found that weird stuff happens at weird times in weird tournaments?
Oh, yeah. But you know what else I found? That if you're going to win one, you know you're going to win it. You just know. Because when you're fishing and everything is working out and every decision you make is giving you upgrade after upgrade after upgrade, and it seems really, really easy.
That's the sweet, the sweet zone right there, Frank. That's what we live for. That's what you get 2-3 times a year, and you go 6-7 months, and right when you get to the bottom of the pit of despair and self-loathing,
the pit of
and
despair.
you're, why am I doing this, and why is it costing so much, and why am I putting myself through this? And I realize it's a first world problem, and then you have the moment, and it all seems right in that split second.
It does. It really does. I mean, Frankie and I experienced a day the other day, and I got to be honest with you. We caught over 60.
It was a year in the making.
Yeah.
By the time when you started having issues and you went through an entire season and basically lost a year, and Frankie went through a whole year of the BFLs, and you've been frustrated. You were that 1 8-hour period was a year in the making.
It was.
And it probably all the worries melted away. You said, this is why I do this.
It was exciting. It was fun. And yes, I mean, I love catching fish. I just love catching them. And I honestly don't care what they are.
I love it.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care if it's carp. I fish for carp on purpose. I don't care. I want to catch them. I want to catch everything with fins and eyeballs.
Oh, that's a great thing. All right. That was jam-packed information show. Let's recap. Banking Creek, March Madness, all sorts of sales going on right now at lurenet.com. Check it out. Banking Creek bag limited to 300. What's the name of this? So this is the March-April Banking Creek bag.
Yeah. This bag here, like honestly, when this show's over, this stuff's going in my boat.
Yeah, you could just buy that bag and be good to go.
The last Banking Creek bag, I got my rooster tail for my inline.
That's a show for another day.
Yeah, that's definitely.
And then the spinnerbait organization, and then we also threw some tips and techniques in there.
Oh yeah, we also had March Madness specials on LureNet, and the BTL 100 code, and
BTL Day 4 merch. All right, we're back. Sometimes when I bring the music in, it mutes you.
Oh, it mutes me?
Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of goes. It sounds like the old telephone deal. Remember, it's like. I don't know why. That's a.
That's called the drive. That's called the drive-through effect. The McDonald's drive-through effect.
Now you're gonna make me go out and get a Dremel tool and build a couple of those spinnerbait boxes, because that is the best way that I've ever seen to store this. So you have not shared that with me before, or shared it with our viewers.
No, I don't. I just have some unique, because Matt, you know, and you could attest to it, and anybody that's ever fished a tournament can attest to it. When you're in the heat of battle, two things happen, okay? Time is everything.
Yep.
Wasted time is killer. Wasted time could cost you a fish, 2 fish, 5 fish. Because if you waste 1 minute looking for a bait, how many minutes during the day do you look for a bait and waste a minute? So
Couple casts right there, Frank.
It adds up. The other thing is, in the heat of battle, you're scrambling around, you're throwing stuff back in your boat compartments to run to another place or do whatever. Things get discombobulated. They could get wet. You could ruin all kinds of tackle because you may not need that particular bait set for 2 or 3 tournaments. By then, the damage is done.
Well said. You want to do it again next week live?
Let's do it.
All right. This has been another episode of Day 4 with Frank Scalish, episode number 105. We'll be back live next week. We'll see you then. Later.